Hi guys, let's look at this RC. So the first paragraph introduces value congruence theory to determine factors that lead to a positive work environment. Second paragraph explains the theory, how value congruence leads to positive outcomes for a company by building trust among employees. So this equation pretty much sums up this paragraph. The third paragraph talks about the three types of value fits. First, the value fit between the employee, that is person, and the organization environment. The other between a person and other persons, that is with his co-workers. And third, the perceptual fit, the perceptions of all the individuals within a company match. One person's perception of company's goals and policies is the same as the other person's, that is perceptual fit. Okay, finally the fourth paragraph talks about the benefits of value congruence model. A remedial action can be taken once you ascertain the dysfunctional relationships. You can amend them by clarifying the misperceived company's policies and goals. So these are the benefits that you can draw by assessing the value fits. Okay, let's look at the questions now. Question number 1, the passage suggests that perceptual fit congruence would be most useful in determining which of the following. The uses of perceptual fit congruence are given here in the last paragraph. The PE and perceptual fit congruence allow companies to discover the dysfunctional work relationships and clarify misperceived company policies and goals. Option A is the best paraphrase, whether a company ought to make its policies and goals more transparent or clear. This is exactly what this line says. Option B talks about sensitivity training for its management. This is not one of the benefits given here in this paragraph anywhere. Option C talks about creating more opportunities for interaction among the workers. This is something again not being talked about here, out of scope. Option D talks about handling grievances more directly. Well, handling grievances could be an implication, one of the implications here in the last paragraph, but more directly, direct, this is not given again. Question 2, which of the following correctly represents the relationship between value fit, communication, and outcomes for a corporate in context of the passage? Question source is the second paragraph, and this is the equation, working equation here. It says value congruence leads to trust. If your values match with company's values, it leads to trust, and this trust finally leads to positive outcomes, positive results. Okay. Option A says lack of communication. Here it is trust plus communication. Lack of communication between employee and organization could be a sign of low value fit. If value congruence leads to trust and communication, then if there is lack of communication, it could be maybe a sign of low value congruence. Option A follows. Option B, transparency, or we can say trust and communication. In peer-to-peer communication leads to positive outcomes. This trust and communication is between employee and company rather than among employees. So peer-to-peer communication is not being talked about. Communication between organization and an individual is being talked about. Option B is out. The policy statement of an organization enhances trust in the company. It is not the policy statement of an organization that enhances trust in the company. It is actually their values, which must be coherent with the values of employees. That ultimately leads to trust enhancement. and brings about positive results. So not every policy statement of an organization will enhance trust, only if the values laid out in policy statement match those of employees. Option D, there is no way to enhance outcomes for a company without fostering employee trust. So without trust, you cannot have positive outcomes. Well, the nature of this equation here is X leads to Y, but that does not mean Y cannot happen without X. X is a sufficient condition or conducive condition for Y, but it is not a necessary condition for Y. So you cannot say there is no way to enhance, there is no way to obtain Y without X. A bit extreme, a bit exaggerated. Option A is the correct answer. According to the passage, which of the following was a motivation behind the creation of the system of value congruence? Okay, motivation means the end goal. What was the goal? Here it is written in the first paragraph that several theories were advanced in order to discover the factors that create a positive work environment for a corporate. One of those theories was value congruence, which means value congruence, the motivation behind devising this theory was to discover the factors that lead to positive work environment. Option A talks about minimizing the liability of upper management. This was not the goal behind devising the model. I desire to help companies to improve their internal harmony. Internal harmony refers to positive work environment. In order to help companies improve their work environment, yes, that was exactly the motivation behind value congruence theory. A desire to foster awareness about the factors influencing managerial success. It's the corporate success, organizational success, rather than the managerial success. So this is wrong again. A desire to eliminate discrepancies between a company's goals and the values of its employees. Now, this is one of the benefits of this model, but this was not the goal behind devising this model. So again, eliminated. The primary focus of the passage is on which of the following? Okay. Comparing a new theory of corporate performance to a discredited theory. Okay. Author does not really compare the value congruence theory to any other discredited theory. He merely explains this one theory. There's no comparison involved with any particular theory. Illustrating a new approach, correct, to measuring employee satisfaction, correct, through a detailed analysis of a particular case. A particular case would mean a particular company. Author has not discussed value congruence theory in context of a particular company. There is no example given in the passage as such. Challenging an old view. Author does not really challenge any old view here. Promoting a new method, correct, of measuring the likelihood of corporate success, that is creating a positive environment, by explaining its benefits. Last paragraph explains the benefits of this new method. Option D should be the correct answer. Hit the like icon if you liked it. Keep watching for more. Happy learning. Cheers to learning. VM signing off.